welcome to the show. We are really excited to have you on board.
Hello.
People and basically students, they opt for higher education in order to go up in their career. So it is like a pathway to their career. But the reality seems very different. So what do you think is causing this gap?
Well, first of all, let me, put it that in a developing country like India, it is natural that a youngster thinks about obtaining a degree or degree level course mainly to look forward to a gainful employment. At the initial stage, he may not think of career as such. His primary aim to begin with is to get an employment, which can develop into career of his choice in a later stage. Well, as far as the gap is concerned, yes, it does exist. There has to be some structural reform in the entire system of higher education in India, and the problem is because of the dynamic requirements of industry, which are continuously changing over a period of time. And nowadays, particularly, technology is being integrated into all the modern day careers. And this makes it essential for the universities and the colleges to design their programs, design the course content in tune with integrating technology. In fact, all the careers across the field, right from commerce and finance, management, engineering, technology, medicine, paramedical, even education, there is a distinct change as far as integration of technology is concerned. Somehow our universities have not kept pace with the changing requirement of industry. That is the main reason of the gap which exists. But let me be very clear that people who make difference now have realized this. And there is an effort to lessen this particular gap.
So do you think that there's a relation between student employability and upgradation of skills? If yes, then what are the steps that universities should take in order to kind of find a link in there?
Obviously, there is a direct link between the skill set of the university pass outs and the expectations of employers, or rather industry requirements. Many recent surveys have shown that the freshers coming out of the university systems, there is a distinct gap in the employability of these students in terms of employers' expectations. Many surveys have shown that majority of our students across the board, whether it is engineering, technology or finance and commerce, the skill set of these freshers does not match with the requirements of industry. Well, the only way out is there has to be more interaction between industry and university, which at present is at the minimum level, with few exceptions, of course. There are some institutes which do have this kind of interaction, but majority of universities across the board, there is a minimum level of such interaction. What is needed is a continuous positive dialogue between industry and the university. Now, this is the only way forward to close the gap between the students' skill set and the industry requirements. You asked about upgradation of skills. With technology into the picture, it makes it essential that the skill set have to be upgraded almost on a continuous basis. It's only after that that these youngsters who are now entering into the job scenario will stay into the system. Now, universities will have to include opportunities to be given to the students to develop this kind of upgradation of skill sets, maybe within the system or from outside the system.
So, just previously, in the previous question, you said that there's a need of having collaboration between universities and corporate organizations. And so, how do you think it can take a start point? Because what has happened in order to, work on student employability and to improve the entire cycle, there's a need of connect. But how can it be started?
Well, to begin with, the universities will have to think about radical structural reforms in terms of design of the programs, course content, duration, and the frequency of the revision of the syllabi to ensure that the content is relevant to the industry at that particular point of time. To initiate the process, according to me, every university or any educational institute has to involve more industry experts into academic councils or board of studies which actually design the program. I am of the opinion that the industry representation on these boards should be at least come to about say 50%, so that academics and the industries represent in equal ratio, and there would be an interaction between industry and academicians at the board of studies level. The revision of the syllabus has to be more frequent. Takes place, or rather used to take place, maybe once in 5 years or once in 3 years. Many universities have realized this, and now the frequency has come to maybe once in about 2 years. But what is happening in the name of revision of the syllabi, again with few exceptions, is a redistribution of the subjects and the topics from one semester to the other, and they would call it as a revision of the syllabi. The need at present, particularly from the point of view of employability of a particular program, is the industry suggestions have to be incorporated in the structure of the course and the syllabus, the duration of the program, and practical orientation of the students to the industry requirements. At present, most of our programs are designed mainly from theory point of view. Might be few exceptions in science and technology programs where some amount of practical aspect has come into being. But there is a need of increasing the practical content as compared to the theory background. And an online support for the students to enhance their theoretical background should be provided, so that they can spend more time in the practical part of the syllabus, which will give them an edge over what is existing at present. And industry will also look forward to the students who have actually practical experience or conceptual understanding of the subject based on the practical use of that particular topic or the subject as such.
In the previous answer, you said that there's more need of inputs from the industries. So if you talk to people from industry and get their involvement in the making of the syllabus or something, that can definitely change the entire perspective of employability among students. But now there are existing faculty members in the university. How do you make them competent to that particular thing? Because they have not been used to that, right? So, what do you suggest? How can universities reframe the entire thing for the existing faculty?
Well, more than the university reframing their approach, the need would be that industry has to rethink about their involvement in the university matters from the point of view of enhancement of employability of students. As I told you earlier, that a continuous dialogue between industry and the university has to take place, paving way for opportunity not only for the students but also for the existing faculty to have exposure to the industrial situations or the corporate culture in this particular case has to be there, and therefore the industry must be ready to absorb this faculty into their system for a short period of time, giving them opportunity to learn the actual needs of the industry, thereby passing that information to the students. And this is the initial part would bring in that change which is actually desired. Now, the frequency of such exposure of faculty, or rather training by the industry experts, indirectly would affect the students and their employability levels. According to me, this is the prime cause of concern, that there is a lack of existing faculty being given the opportunity to understand or to experience the corporate culture and the industrial functioning. Over the time, with more awareness coming on this ground and industry also readying themselves to get involved in this particular matter for mutual benefit of the university, and in turn the industry also will get benefited by this exercise. The existing faculty who are not used to going to corporate or actually on floor to experience or to gain knowledge from the site, they will have to change their mindset, and spare time might be during vacations or in between the semesters. So there would be a need of training the faculty on this particular issue of the importance of their keeping abreast with the developments of industry. This is more so in the field of technology and engineering, where there are rapid changes which are happening. I would say even commerce and finance is also quite dynamic. Therefore, there is an essential need of faculty being trained first on a continuous basis or on a regular basis. This, according to me, would be the primary step the university has to take.
So, learning by doing and earning by learning are two powerful concepts. What do you think about these concepts in relation to university taking these concepts up?
According to me, both these concepts, learning by doing and earning while learning, are very, very essential from the point of view of employability of the students. There is no way out for universities in future but to involve these concepts, or rather integrate these concepts into the structure of the degree level programs. The so-called on-job training or what is usually commonly referred to as internship or apprenticeship, is the best method to get the fresher oriented to the requirement of industry or the market, thereby making him ready to go on to the field right from day one. This will need a structural change in the form of the duration of the course. There are already certain programs which exist where a degree is awarded at the end of the internship or maybe apprenticeship program. For example, most of the programs in the medical field, the student is awarded a degree only after when he completes certain period, certain number of months into the actual market situation. According to me, all degree levels, we must include exposure to the students to the industry requirements or the corporate environment at least once in a year. So thereby, part of the semester should be designed for such interaction. But somehow only the university's initiative will not be sufficient. Industry will have to also come forward to absorb the students into their system. Well, the problem in this particular case is that the industry has to accommodate large number of students which are there in the Indian education system. Industry has to make some arrangement to accommodate the students over the years into their system, and for this there has to be mutual understanding between university officials or the university policy makers and the industry experts. It is by doing this, both parties will ultimately benefited, and this will contribute to the progress of nation as a whole.
Thank you so much, sir. It was
You are welcome.
Yeah, it is great, interacting with you, because in the interactions we get to learn a lot, and I'm sure that our viewers will also learn a lot from this interaction that we had today. Thank you so much for coming.
You are welcome, and thank you very much.